Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are looking at something that is basically going to rewire how you think about business architecture. We're unpacking the exact blueprint for a scalable AI company operating system. You know, if you've been sitting there wondering how to take your business from a chaotic mess of scattered software tools into a fully operational, automated powerhouse, well, you are in exactly the right place. Let's get into it. Okay, let's dive into this. What if your entire company literally ran on autopilot? Right now, a lot of businesses out there are just kind of throwing random AI chatbots at their operational problems, hoping something sticks. And honestly, it usually just creates this disconnected, chaotic mess. But what we're looking at today is your escape route from all that chaos. We're going to break down exactly how to build a unified system.
But first, to really understand how we get there, we need to clearly define what an AI company OS actually is. So, at its core, it's a centralized, multi-agent business operating system where highly specialized AI agents collaborate across your different departments, all under strict human oversight. We are definitely not just talking about some simple app that drafts your emails here. We're looking at a complete structural blueprint for a highly scalable architecture. Imagine a setup where AI agents effectively become your operational departments.
So, here's our roadmap for the explainer today. We'll start with the digital nervous system, then move into the core technology stack, check out the multi-agent workforce, discuss controlled workflows, and finally wrap up with a scaling playbook.
All right, jumping right into part one, the digital nervous system, exploring the vision and purpose.
I want you to think of a company not as some rigid mechanical machine, but as a living, sensing organism. The source text actually puts it perfectly, saying, this is not just an app, this is a full AI-powered company system. So the crucial point is that we're moving entirely away from these isolated one-off tools. The ultimate goal here is comprehensive company-wide automation, where everything is unified by shared memory and operates with absolutely zero chaos. It's like an environment where development, security, sales, marketing, and finance are all continuously interacting and learning together as one unified body. Moving on to part two, let's look at the core technology stack, which serves as the brain and organs of the operation. This is where we shift our focus to the actual underlying infrastructure. Think about it like this. Just as human organs have highly specialized functions, so do the AI models in this architecture. You absolutely cannot just use one single AI for everything. For instance, OpenAI acts as the thinking brain. It handles your complex reasoning, the system architecture, and those big core decisions. Claude, on the other hand, is the coding hand. It's the one trusted with writing production code and doing really meticulous code reviews. Gemini steps in for communication and planning tasks, while the NVIDIA API takes on the heavy lifting on the back end. Think intense inference and security scaling. Role specialization is absolutely key here. And those specialized AI brains need a really robust environment to operate in. The core stack tools make that happen. LangGraph acts as the main brain. It's basically the master controller routing workflows across the entire company. But intelligence is useless without memory, right? That's exactly where PostgreSQL comes in. It acts as the shared company memory so your AI agents never forget their history or past decisions. Meanwhile, Redis manages the request queue, which is a total lifesaver because it protects against API rate limits. And a Next.js dashboard gives the human CEO a centralized control panel to just monitor the whole shebang. All right, section 3. The multi-agent workforce. Let's see how we actually build out these layers. 40. That is the ultimate scale of a fully mature AI company OS according to this blueprint. 40 distinct specialized agents all working together simultaneously. Now, I know that number might sound incredibly overwhelming at first glance, but trust me, it is deeply, deeply structured. That massive 40-agent workforce is actually organized neatly into very relatable traditional corporate layers. The executive layer has a CEO agent and a strategy agent. The development layer has an architect, developers, and DevOps, and it just goes all the way down the line. Your marketing layer has dedicated SEO and ads agents. Your finance layer has specific agents for tracking expenses and calculating profit. Literally, every single department you'd expect to see in a traditional human enterprise has its own dedicated, tireless digital workforce. Which brings us to part 4, controlled workflows, or what I like to call the anti-chaos motif. Because let's be real, letting 40 different AI agents talk to each other all at once without a strict pipeline is just a guaranteed recipe for absolute chaos. The blueprint presents a really strict core philosophy to combat this. Never allow all agents to talk to all agents directly. You must use controlled flow only. Think about it.
If your marketing agent bypasses the architect agent and goes straight to the developer agent, the whole system breaks down. Communication has to be routed deliberately and linearly if you want to maintain order in this enterprise nervous system.
Let's move to and see how this builds into a perfect linear pipeline, say, for something like a new feature request. It starts right at step 1, with the CEO agent formally approving the request. Then it flows sequentially. In step 2, the strategy agent plans it out. Step 3, the architect agent designs the technical structure. Step 4, the developer agent actually writes the executable code. Step 5, the security agent jumps in to validate that code and check for vulnerabilities. And finally, in step 6, the documentation agent records everything and generates a final report for the human founder. It is clean, it is totally predictable, and man, it just works.
To keep that pipeline running smoothly, the source outlines 5 mandatory rules of governance for survival. Let's punch through them real quick. Rule 1. You must have a queue system like Redis. Otherwise, rate limit failures will just destroy your workflow. Rule 2. Shared memory, like PostgreSQL, is completely non-negotiable. Agents cannot forget past context. Rule 3 is the validation layer. Never, ever trust the first AI output. Always double-check. Rule 4 is role isolation, meaning each agent gets exactly one clear job to prevent overlap. And crucially, Rule 5, human override. The human founder must always have the final say.
Now for our final section, Part 5, the scaling playbook and its rules of survival.
So how do you actually go about building this thing? Now, what's really interesting about this roadmap is the critical advice hidden right there in Phase 1. You do not start with 40 agents. You start with exactly 4. A CEO, an architect, a developer, and a tester. That is it. Once that runs perfectly, Phase 2 scales you up to 8 agents, bringing in security and DevOps. Phase 3 moves to 15+ agents for intelligence-driven optimization. And only in Phase 4 do you finally expand to the full 40-agent ecosystem for complete autonomous enterprise execution. Start small, scale reliably.
The source material calls this the founder truth. Success is not simply about having more agents. 4 strong agents working perfectly in a single system that executes every single day will utterly outperform a disjointed system of 40 broken agents that consistently fails. Operational reliability is just far more valuable than raw agent quantity. It's quality over quantity, every time.
And this brilliantly illustrates the real heart of the entire blueprint. The goal is not to replace people. The goal is to create a system where humans supervise and AI accelerates execution. The AI company OS is essentially a digital enterprise nervous system. It senses opportunities, it processes decisions, it executes workflows, but the human being is always the one steering the ship and setting the grand vision.
Which leaves us with one final critical question to consider as we wrap up this explainer. Take a hard look at your own operations right now. Is your enterprise actively building a digital nervous system, or will you be outpaced by competitors who already have? Think about how you can apply these scaling principles today, maybe just starting with those first 4 agents. Thank you so much for joining me, and I really encourage you to keep exploring how this incredible multi-agent blueprint can completely redefine your work.